YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to Members Only, and shout out to Sub-Zero for having Randy Love call in on the show. I think it was good content, it's good for the genre, and it's something that we should all appreciate. Now, a couple of months ago, I made a video about Alpo and Preacher. I basically told a story on how Preacher got in Alpo's pockets. Now, with that being said, recently, Randy Love did call in the Sub-Zero show. And Sub-Zero asked him a question. He asked him, did Alpo pay Preacher? And he shut it down real fast. He said no. And there you go. You had an exclusive. But one thing I just want to tell people is that Randy Love told things from his point of view. Just like when Sean Brand said Wayne Perry messed with men. And then when you ask Alpo says, Wayne Perry only was messing with females. He never saw Wayne Perry or ever heard of Wayne Perry messing with a guy. So that was from both of these guys' point of view. So one person could say one thing, the other person could say another thing. So who's right and who's wrong? So with Randy Love coming out with that recent statement saying that Alpo never paid Preacher, does that shut down the video that Members Only made a couple months ago? Now, some people might say yes because it's from the horse's mouth, and Members Only wasn't there. Now, Randy Love was Alpo's OG. He was there when Alpo caught his first body. He was taking Alpo on stick-ups. He would take him on robberies. He groomed him. He basically put something into Alpo that Alpo didn't have. What a role model. But anyway, you gotta look at it like this. Randy Love was around Alpo for short amounts of time, so he couldn't speak on the Preacher situation overall. Yes, we all heard Randy Love tell a story about how Small Paws was sent by Preacher to shake Alpo down, and Randy Love wasn't having that. He had to put his hand on Small Paws. Yes, we heard it, but what about the times where Randy Love wasn't around? That's what we need to speak on. Now, I want y'all to think about this. When you see these pictures of all the Harlem legends, the Harlem street legends, like Rich Porter, you see AZ, Alpo, you see the Stans, Eric Von Zips, you've seen all these guys, right? But one person you never notice that's in these photos with these guys, and that's Randy Love. Now, whenever you see a picture of Randy Love, he's behind bars, he's in sweats, he's posted in the jail pose. Now, as far as I can remember, Alpo wasn't seeing any real money until he got down with AZ and them. And when Alpo got hooked up with the jukebox joint, he started getting into some real paper. After that, he started copping his own bricks. And after that, he went down to Virginia, he went down to DC and was making noise. As far as I can remember, I didn't hear Randy Love's name during this time. That window between Alpo getting a jukebox joint all the way to DC. So where was Randy Love? I mean, opinions are opinions, and you could be that person that put two and two together and, notice the things that doesn't add up and use your brain. Or you could be the person that let someone that was behind bars all their life make their mind up for you. Now, do I believe when Randy Love was home, did he keep guys off of Alpo? Yes, I do believe that. I do believe that Randy Love was protecting Alpo, but it's the time when he was behind bars. Now, the video I made about Alpo and Preacher is when Alpo made a mistake and put his hands on a female, and Preacher said it was his daughter, but it wasn't really his daughter. It was just a extortion move. So he used that to get in Alpo pockets. A lot of people mistake that story with Alpo paying Preacher on a weekly or monthly basis. No, that wasn't the case. Alpo made a mistake, and Alpo came out of his pocket to fix the situation. So that's how certain things work in life. Some people fix situations using their money. Now, Alpo was definitely avoiding Preacher. Preacher wanted to get some work from Alpo, and Alpo was ducking him. Now, Alpo didn't want to do business with Preacher because he knew if he would have done a business with Preacher, he was probably going to burn them. See, a lot of guys were scared of Preacher because they knew he was laying down that murder game. So they would come to Preacher for help. So they would pay Preacher to knock off their enemies. And then Preacher, he would just automatically lose respect for these dudes because these dudes couldn't handle their own beef. So he would do things like he would start taxing them. And he was just like, listen, if you gotta pay me to handle your beef, I might as well just tax you. And there was guys that would give him money up front to take care of dudes, and and Preacher, he wouldn't do it. Like, what are you gonna do? You came to me to get rid of your beef, and who is you gonna call to take care of me? And a lot of people, they downplay it and they say, hey, Rich Reporter wasn't being extorted, it was business. Well, business is extortion. Extortion is business, no matter how you look at it. And it really doesn't mean you're a punk. It just, these guys was getting so much money. These was young boys getting a lot of money during the crack era. So that money that they was paying Preacher wasn't really nothing to them. You had a lot of guys that survived the drug game because they was paying someone, that they outlast all the hustlers because they fell back, made their money, and they did pay a few people, whether they paid someone like Preacher or they paid a police officer. Someone always gonna be in your pockets. Now, if you wanna shoot it out and make it hot for yourself and go to jail, so be it, but there was a lot of guys that was paying just to have easy runs. And let's just say if Preacher approached Alpo on some extortion shit while Randy Love was home, well, it would have been a war. Of course, Randy Love would have forced Alpo to go to war. It would have been very logical because you're in the game to make money. You're not in the game to beef. But it would have been a lot of bodies, things would have been hot. And Alpo would have been in the same position as Randy Love, behind bars all his life. So Alpo wouldn't have became Alpo. Alpo wouldn't have made all the money that he made. Alpo wouldn't have went to DC. And you gotta look at it. We could sit here all day and talk about what would have happened and if this would have happened, if that would have happened. But one thing I can tell you is that the people that really think Preacher was scared of Randy Love is insane. Come on now, so you mean to tell me that the Preacher crew stayed away from Alpo because they were scared of what a man behind bars would have did to them? How does that make sense? Randy Love was in jail all his life. But anyway, free Randy Love. I hope he get out soon so we can hear more of these stories. And I'll be the judge of, if I think the story true or not. But who am I? But anyway, thanks for supporting. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to get the likes up. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong, or let me know if you agree. And you already know we're gonna keep the ball rolling every week. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on so you don't miss out on the content. I'm out.